Hi and welcome back to video 2 in our Career Redirection series. In this video we're going to look at identifying your transferable skills. So you've just seen a whole variety of skills going up on the screen there. These are ones that we hear about quite often, to be honest. Some of them possibly less common. But where do we gain and develop skills? We always think about and talk about the workplace, really, and that is, it's a great place and quite often commonly identified, but it's not just a workplace. It could be places like volunteering, within the home as well, in family. So many skills are developed within the home and family life. Training and education courses, but also hobbies and interests as well. Stuff that you're doing away from the home life. These are really important. So to start off with, it's really important that we explore the skills that we've got. And you'll see on the screen now some examples of transferable skills exercises that I've done all over the years with clients. And it all starts off with a piece of paper. It's a little bit further down the line that it comes into something, a graphic like this that they can look at and start to get and understand. But with that bit of paper, we start exploring what their role was within that team or within that organisation or within that job. What kind of responsibilities did they have? What did they have to do on a day-to-day basis, but also what did they have to do on not so much a day-to-day basis, but on an occasional basis. And we do that by chatting about the job and thinking about the different things that they've had to do during that period. And this is something you can do yourself at home. A piece of paper, just having to think about what your role was within that team or within that organisation. Now, if I think about my role as a prison officer for a number of years, there was a lot of us in that prison all employed as prison officers. We had the same job title and the same job description, but we all brought something different to the table. And I'm quite kind of honest about what I brought to the table. I was probably quite a positive thinker, quite lively and energetic, but also coming up with fresh ideas and being quite creative as well in what we could do moving forward. But there were other people who were perhaps a little bit calmer, a little bit more mild-mannered, who would kind of sit and have a think about what the problems were and how we could overcome these. And we need all of them within the team, but I know exactly what my role was within it. So when it comes to exploring your skills, don't just think about what would be expected of you within that role. You know, what did you actually contribute? What was part of your personality and your character that you injected into that role? And there are a whole host of different resources and tools that we can use to help us with this as well. One really good place is the National Career Service website, which I think is always a very underused resource, if I'm brutally honest. But if you go on there, it will have a whole variety of job descriptions for most jobs that you can think of. So if you're really unsure, then you can have a look on there to see what kind of skills would be expected within that role. Also, they've got a skills assessment or skills finder tool on there as well that you can do on an individual basis to learn more about the skills that you have. But also live job descriptions. Have a look at jobs that are advertised that are similar to what you've done in the past to get a feeling about what kind of skills might have been expected. But also, you've got friends and family around you as well. You know, asking them, talking to them, you know, or even just a little bit of an activity, getting them to list, you know, what your 3 strongest skills are, can be a big morale booster as well, if nothing else. But it gets someone else's perspective. These little exercises, you know, starting to understand the skills that you've got and list them are really important, because this is the foundation that we're starting to build. And the next bit would be to add some context to your skills. Now, if we take a skill like communication, it's quite a common one. We hear about it quite a lot, and it's in most people's CVs, to be honest. But the word communication means something different to a lot of different people. Now, for myself, communication could be the fact that I'm able to stand up in crowds of anything up to 500, probably more to be honest, and talk quite confidently about the subject that I'm there to deliver, keep people interested and engaged, asking questions, and do so with a bit of humour as well. Other people might find that pretty daunting to even think about. However, someone else, their idea of communication could well be their ability to put very accurately worded, well presented, structured in the correct manner press releases that, if they get that wrong, can have quite serious implications. For me, that would be my idea of a really kind of challenging task. So we all have different ways of using the skills into different levels. And a great exercise is to sit down and think about what are your 5 strongest skills, especially in relation to what you want to do next as well. Try and keep it related to that. But what are them 5 strongest skills? And having a think about when and to what level you've used each of them skills, and making some notes, because this forms the foundation now for the work on CVs and application forms. And lastly, I had a friend of mine, Sarah, who asked a question about the skills that you use as a parent. Can we refer to these in things like CVs and application forms? Yes, yes, and yes. For some people, especially those who have a career gap, haven't worked for a while, this is probably or possibly what they've been doing in that time. But at the same time, they've been exercising so many different skills. And if you ever sit and explore the skills that you've got to use as a parent, they are every single skill you would ever use in a workplace, plus a lot more. So yeah, don't ever worry about having to do that. And we'll see you back again soon for the next video, which is number 3 in the Career Redirection series, and we're focused on researching your career options. Any questions, please feel free to get in touch and we'll do our best to answer them.